This is Stephanie Barnes, back for episode 24 of my Brickwall Chats series. This little short video today is going to be on change management. As with all my other videos, this one came up based on discussions and things that I've had with people over the last few weeks. So change management is something that has come up a few times, so I decided to do a little video on it. So here are some of my thoughts on change management. Change management's really important, and sorry, I don't mean to sound light or fluffy about that, but change management is really important, and it comes into everything that I have done for years and years, for most of my career. And change management is really about involving people in the decision-making process and sharing the decision-making with them, telling them what's happening and why it's happening. Sometimes they can't be involved in the decision-making process, so communicate that to them. But it's, for me at least, it's about keeping people in the loop. And involving them in the process as much as possible, and sharing the information with them when you can, and recognizing sometimes that there's reasons why you can't, but yeah, that involvement of the people who are going to be using the technology that you're rolling out, who are the beneficiaries of process changes. Perhaps their roles are going to change because of process or technology, so keeping them in the loop. People don't like change. They like to do, the same, lots of people, well, and even myself included to a certain extent, like some stability, like to know what they're expected to do, when it's, the due dates, the consequences. So when you start introducing new technology, which has been what most of my projects have been about somehow, is new projects or new processes and new technology and things. So it's change management is addressing the needs of people, to give them some security, some understanding of what the technology is for, why it's being rolled out now, asking them for their input. So it's not something that's done to them or enforced on them or thrown over the wall to them. They have had a say in all of it, all the way along. You've collected their requirements, you've understood their vision, what would make their jobs easier, so you can realign processes if that's necessary, or make sure that technology supports the processes and supports the objectives. Sometimes technology can reduce the length of time it takes to execute a process, but make sure that you're not dropping steps that are important to people, and important to the organization. So I'd say this from an audit perspective, having spent the first part of my career as an auditor. You don't want to miss out something from one of your processes, your business processes, is going to jeopardize the quality of the financial information or the information that's within your organization. Want to make sure that there's separation of duties. That's something that comes up in accounting and finance, so that people aren't approving their own timesheets, for instance, those kinds of things. So those changes in processes need to keep that audit requirement in mind too, and those business requirements in mind, to make sure that things work the way they need to work. That's not to say that you should do things the way they've always been done. That's what the technology is there for, to make things simpler, easier. I'll hopefully free people up to be more creative. The technology isn't there on the creative side yet. Freeing people up to be more creative and innovative, and let the computers handle the daily, the transactions, the routine things, and let people handle the things that aren't so routine. And where I started off from, change management's a big part of being successful with those kinds of initiatives, and making sure that people understand that their jobs aren't being taken away, that's just going to result in change in roles and responsibilities, and communicate that to them, involve them in that. And I hate to, somehow people make a big deal about change management, but really that's what it boils down to, is involving people in the process and not just forcing it down on them. We're all trying to flatten our organizations and take out layers of middle management. I've been hearing about that for 20 years, at least 20 years. And the way to do that is to communicate. Communicate. And that's what change management's about. So there you go. Have a couple of 5 minutes of me talking about some ideas, some thoughts on change management. I hope you've enjoyed this 24th episode of my Brickwall Chats series, and I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already, and feel free to leave your comments and questions in the comments underneath the video, or get in touch with me directly. Thanks very much. Bye.